More than 170 people were diagnosed with heat-related illnesses last week following the end of the rainy season here in Korea, as monsoon rains gave way to scorching conditions.
장마철이 끝나고 불볕더위가 찾아온 지난주 국내에서 170명 이상의 온열 질환자가 발생했습니다. 온열 질환자라는 표현을 영어로
Yes.
이렇게 말할 수 있군요. Heat-related illnesses. 이거는 사실 이제 온열 질환까지죠. People with that
That's right.
would be the 질환자. But let's talk about heat-related and this term.
That's right. So if you have a sickness or an illness that has resulted from being exposed to extreme heat, then you can call it a heat-related illness.
Yeah. Related to something, 뭔가 관련이 있다. Illness는 질환이니까요. Heat-related illnesses. 이 열과 관련된, 폭염과 관련된 각종 질환을 말하고 있습니다. 그래서 구체적으로 온열 질환이라고 하면은 열사병, 열탈진, 열실신, 열부종, 열경련 이런
Yes.
것들을 포함한다고 하죠.
That's right.
Now, what about giving way to scorching conditions?
Yes. If you give way to something, then you're actually yielding to someone or something, or you're allowing someone or something to go,
Yeah.
to be first. So you're giving way or you're allowing these really hot conditions to actually be.
Yeah.
So you're allowing these really hot, extreme conditions to be there.
외국에서는 운전하다 보면은 이
Yes.
양보라는 표시로 어떤 나라에서는
Yield.
give way.
Yes.
근데 give way라고 써
That's
있는
right.
것도 전 본 것 같거든요.
So both
그쵸?
can actually happen. So you can actually have yield or give way.
네, 의미는 같아요.
That's
그러니까 양보하다, 누군가가 오게 하다, 먼저 가게 하다. 여기서는 비유적이긴 하지만 장마라는 의인화해가지고 장마라는 사람이 가고 그다음
That's
폭염이라는 사람이 오게 한 거예요. 그래서 이거를 지금 very figuratively 아주 비유적으로 말을 했지만 장마가 가고 나니 폭염이 찾아와서 그다음에 이러한 질환들이 많이 발생하고 있다. 그런 의미가 되겠습니다.
The number of daily COVID cases has soared to the upper 40,000s for the first time in over 6 months, indicating a potential resurgence of the virus, with concerns arising that the figure could soon reach 50,000.
코로나19 하루 확진자 수가 6개월여 만에 최다인 4만 명대 후반까지 치솟았습니다. 이에 따라 재유행 가능성이 점쳐진 가운데 이 숫자가 곧 5만 명을 돌파할지 모른다는 우려도 나오고 있습니다. 자, 4만 명대 후반이라는 표현부터 볼게요.
Yes.
It was in the upper 40,000s.
Yes. So if you think about the Korean phrase,
Yeah.
후반, you might want to say latter.
Right.
But actually in the English phrase, you say upper.
Yeah, if it's a movie, for example, 영화 후반부, then you can say in the latter half of the
Yeah.
movie, da-di-da-di-da, and that's fine. You wouldn't say in the upper movie.
No.
No.
Or you can also say in the latter half of the year.
Yes.
Yes.
그렇죠.
But not in the figures. If you talk about numbers, you say upper something figures or in the lower figures,
Yeah.
then you would say that phrase in terms of the numbers, the actual numbers.
Right.
So the upper 40,000s means 4만 명대 후반.
후반. 네. Upper 40,000s 기록 일단 했고요. Now this could indicate a potential resurgence of COVID.
Yes. Resurgence means that it's coming back. So it's a revival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
자, 다시 돌아오는 거죠. 무언가의 재기나 부활, resurgence라고 할 수 있습니다. I think we spoke last week about the term to surge. You know,
Yes.
something can surge, it can go up and come. If it's a resurgence, it's doing that again.
Yes. So it's an increase or a revival after a period of low-level activity. So it's a resurgence. Yes.
Well, let's talk more about this. 코로나 사실상 사라진 줄 알았는데
That's right.
그렇지 않은 거예요. 그러니까 굿바이 코로나가 아니라 다시 이렇게 리서치 하고 있나 하는 생각이 들 정도로 코로나 확진자 수가 굉장히 많아졌어요.
A 3.5 magnitude earthquake struck the county of Jiangsu in North Jeolla province on Saturday, becoming the third most powerful quake to hit the Korean peninsula and surrounding waters so far this year.
지난 토요일 전라북도 장수군에서 규모 3.5의 지진이 발생했습니다. 이번 지진은 올해 한반도 및 주변 해역에서 관측된 지진 중 세 번째로 큰 규모입니다. The first expression here is the third most powerful quake.
Yes. So the third most means that from the rankings, it's 1, 2, 3, the third on the list. And you can say quake instead of earthquake. So in short, it's a quake. So it's actually, in terms of the magnitude, on the Richter scale, it's actually the third highest.
세 번째로 강하다, 세 번째로 가장 많다. Third most.
Yes, that's right.
Quake is just another way of saying earthquake, right?
Yes.
그렇죠. 이걸 많이 줄여서 표현을 하기 때문에 earthquake, quake 같은 단어로 보시면 되고요. Surrounding waters는 뭘까요?
So surrounding waters means that it's actually the ocean right next to the Korean peninsula. The peninsula is, I guess, like because Korea, it has three bodies of water next to the land. It's actually talking about the bodies of water. It has three parts because one part is actually surrounded by land. So the other parts, that is the other oceans, it's all of the waters, including the other land part. All of that included, it was actually the third most powerful quake.
Exactly. 우리가 이렇게 주변을 아우르고 있는 거에 대해서 surround라는 단어를 많이 쓰죠. 근데 우리나라에서도 가끔 외래어처럼 이 그 surround system
Yes.
이렇게 하면서
Surround sound.
surround sound 이런 표현 많이 쓰는 것 같아요. 그러면 이제 바로 이해가 되실 것 같은데 사방에서 소리가 나는 것 같은 그런 이제 음향 시스템을 말하는 거잖아요. 그래서 surrounding이라는 게 그런 겁니다. 사방에 있다, 주변에 있다. Surrounding waters는 이제 우리나라 그 해역, 주변 해역을 말합니다.
Yes. France and the EU have cut off financial support to Niger after a coup toppled the West African country's democratically elected president, while leaders from Washington to Moscow have called for his immediate release.
프랑스와 유럽연합은 군부 쿠데타 세력이 민주적으로 선출된 대통령을 실각시킨 서아프리카 국가 니제르에 모든 경제적 원조를 중단한다고 밝혔습니다. 미국과 러시아 등 각국 정상들도 니제르 대통령의 즉각적인 석방을 촉구했습니다. 자, 일단은 이제 프랑스와 EU가 한 거예요. They cut off
Yes.
financial support.
Yes. If you cut off something, it could be cut off power, cut off water supply. You actually suspend it, or you actually just put a stop to it.
Right.
So what the France and the EU have done is they used to provide financial support, money, to Niger, but now they have stopped providing it.
경제적인 원조를 중단했다. They have cut off financial support.
That's right.
Now, the coup there toppled the president.
That's right.
Yeah, so let's look at topple.
If you topple something, you cause something to become unsteady, or you cause something to fall. In this case, you have caused the top or the summit of a country to fall. So you have actually taken over the presidency, or you've actually taken down the president of a country.
So the president was at a certain place or a
Yes.
seat, and then the
It's
image
become-
here is that
yes.
it kind of fell
Yes.
over. topple이라는 것 자체가 원래는 이제 비틀비틀거리다 탁 넘어지는
Exactly.
이미지거든요. 그렇기 때문에 이 쿠데타로 인해서 대통령 자리에 있었던 프레지던트가 그 자리에서 이제 뭐 내려오게 됐다. 프레지던트 베줌의 그런 실각을 얘기하고 있다고 볼 수 있겠습니다.
That's right. The remains of a German mountain climber who went missing in 1986 have been found on a melting glacier in the Swiss mountains, along with a boot and crampon that have been identified as belonging to the hiker.
알프스 빙하가 녹아내린 스위스 산악지대에서 1986년 실종된 독일인 등반가의 유해가 발견됐습니다. 이 사람의 것으로 확인된 등산화와 아이젠도 함께 모습을 드러냈습니다. 자, 사라졌어요. 행방불명됐어요. 이건 영어로는 he went missing.
Yes, go missing. He went missing. If you cannot find your pet,
Oh, yes.
your dog,
Uh-huh.
you can say, he's gone missing. My dog has gone missing.
Yeah.
And you can put up flyers saying that my dog has gone missing. Please help me find him.
In short, you would
Yes.
just see the letters or the word missing.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
a picture of the dog and then a description. 아, 그래요.
I think that there was even a movie titled Missing.
Okay.
And it was about like a social media movie talking about a missing daughter or something.
Okay.
Yes. So you can actually use it without the go.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yes.
if it's a poster.
Exactly. Yes.
이게 포스터 같은 거는 길게 위에다가 못 쓰면은 이렇게 바로 이해가 안 될 수도 있고 뭐 그렇기 때문에 최대한 짧게 간단 말이에요.
That's
그래서
right.
원래는 go missing이라는 표현이지만 전단지나 포스터나 뭐 이런 데서는 그냥 missing. 이렇게 쓰고 그다음에 또 뭐 wanted도 마찬가지죠.
That's right.
This person is wanted by the police. 이렇게 길게 쓰지 않고 그냥 wanted 이렇게 탁 하고 그 밑에다가 이제 뭐 범인 사진이라든지 이런 게 이제 있을 수 있습니다.
That's right.
그 missing 없어지다, 사라지다, 행방불명되다가 있고요. 그 다음에는 melting glacier.
That's right. So if it's melting, it's actually not in a solid state, right? A glacier is actually a body of ice. So it's a body of very dense ice, but one that's actually constantly moving under its own weight. Right. So in the very, very cold regions, either in the Arctic or Antarctic, it's actually those bodies of ice that actually look like land, but it's dense ice. But they're actually melting because of global boiling these days. It's no longer global warming. It's actually global warming, now mentioned by the UN. So it's actually because it was melting. This German mountain climber who went missing has been found.
네, melting glacier는 녹아내리는 빙하고요. 하나만 더 본다면 우리가 이제 흔히 아이젠이라고 하는 거를
Yes.
영어로는 이제 crampon이라고
Yes.
하고요.
But it's slightly different because Eisen can be used in both ways, I think, because of the stick that you use and the one that you actually put on your shoes.
Oh yeah,
I think
didn't think of the
crampon
shoes. Yeah.
is actually more the one that you stick on your shoes.
아하, okay.
Yeah.
그리고 여기 boot 단수로 쓴 이유는 신발이 하나만 발견됐기 때문이에요.
right.
이 한 켤레였으면 boots 이렇게 했을 텐데 그게 아니라 그냥 하나만 찾은 겁니다.
That's right.
왼쪽인지 오른쪽인지는 잘 모르겠습니다. 그건 밝혀지지 않았어요.
That's right.
Typhoon Kanoon, the sixth tropical storm of the year, is expected to continue advancing northward into the East China Sea over the next couple of days, bringing hot and humid air as it approaches the Korean peninsula, further intensifying scorching conditions.
제6호 태풍 카눈이 동중국해로 계속 북상할 것으로 보이며 고온다습한 공기를 우리나라로 보내 무더위를 부추길 것으로 예상됩니다. 네. 자, 이 태풍이 지금 북쪽으로 올라오고 있어요. 북상하고 있는데요. 이거를 영어로는 뭐라고 할까요? You say advancing northward?
That means it's moving north. It's moving in the direction of the north.
Yeah. When you hear advancing, it sounds quite powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you're moving in that direction. So a lot of times you'll hear like troops in any war situation. Troops are advancing towards the capital, for example, or advancing towards the border.
So you wouldn't say, my friend is advancing towards me in a friendly manner.
No,
Right?
no,
Yeah.
not really, no.
Exactly.
If someone makes an advance at you, that's like hitting on you.
That's true. Yes. 그냥 다가오는 게 아니라 또 다른 뉘앙스가 있을 수 있어요. So if someone is making an advance, 그럴 때는 관심이 있는 거죠. Maybe they like you.
Right.
They have a crush on you. or
Exactly. They're
something.
kind of flirting with you and hitting on you.
Exactly. 여기서는 advancing northward, we're looking at Typhoon Kanoon, 북상하고 있다. And yeah,
I was just going to mention, when
yeah.
you see like WARD, think of the word like toward, right? So if I'm moving towards you, I'm moving in your direction.
Yeah.
Northward, then we know it's moving north. And you can have southward as well. You can
Forward,
have forward,
backward.
backward. You can have anything.
Sideways.
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 Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's true,
so
actually.
there's the one that doesn't fit.
그러네요. Sideward는 없습니다.
Yes.
Sideways라고 하고요. 그냥 northward, southward, forward, backward. 어떤 방향을 가리켜서 그런 방향으로 하고 있다. So the typhoon is advancing northward, and maybe we'll see intensifying heat waves here in Korea.
Yeah, that's what, unfortunately, they're saying. I hate to be the bearer of bad news when it comes to this, but yeah, it looks as though the conditions we're all dealing with right now, it's going to get even worse. So when we say intensifying scorching conditions means those scorching conditions are going to get even stronger, even more extreme. So anytime anything intensifies, the intensity increases.
Yeah.
So it's bigger, it's greater, stronger, more extreme. So a lot of times, again, another war example, unfortunately, but if they say fighting intensified, there was more fighting. It was more serious.
Yeah. 뭔가 더 serious해지는 거니까요. 심해지다, 강해지다, 아니면 뭔가 더 심각해지다의 느낌도 있을 수 있습니다. Intensify.
Gyeonggi province officials have announced they are conducting an inspection of animal shelters in the region for highly pathogenic avian influenza, following the confirmation of 2 cases at private cat shelters in Seoul last week.
네, 지난주 서울 소재 고양이 민간 보호시설 2곳에서 고병원성 조류 인플루엔자가 발생함에 따라 경기도가 지역 내 동물 보호소를 대상으로 일제 검사를 실시하겠다고 밝혔습니다. 이렇게 검사를 실시할 때는요, check 할 수도 있겠지만 conduct an investigation이라는 표현을 많이 씁니다.
Investigation, inspection, it just means they're going to do it.
Exactly.
Conduct is, we'll use conduct a lot with experiments as well. Like in science class, we're going to conduct
Yeah.
an experiment.
그러네요. 실험을 우리가 할 때도 conduct an experiment. 여기서는 conduct an inspection. So conduct and these words, they always come together.
Right, inspection, investigation, experiment, those are the ones. Conduct an operation, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually I think they say perform an operation a lot.
There you go. 자, 그래서 검사를 실시한다라는 표현과 함께 동물 보호소는 animal shelter라고 하죠.
So that's where strays can go, to animal shelters, cats or dogs. When I was younger, like I actually got a dog from an animal shelter.
Did you?
Yeah.
So they're called rescues.
Yeah, rescue
right?
dogs, I
Rescue
guess.
dogs.
Yeah, or just, you just get them from the animal shelter.
보통 이제 뭐 유기견 우리가 그 뭐라 그러나요? 유기견을 만났을 때 데려올 때 I don't know what the verb would be in Korean. 그때 이제 I got this dog from a shelter. 이렇게 얘기를 많이.
You don't have to pay for them, so you get them. You don't
그렇죠.
actually buy them.
그러니까 뭐라 그래야 되나? 데려왔다 그래야 되나요? 유기견을 뭐 집으로 내가 데려왔는데 그 동물 보호소에서 쉘터에서 데려왔다. 이렇게 얘기를 많이 하죠. 자, 여기서 이제 쉘터라는 표현 나오고 다른 뉴스에서는 이 쉘터가 어떤 피난 아니나 뭐 대피하는 곳으로 쓰일 때도 있습니다.
Russian forces have intercepted several drones over the city of Moscow, according to officials, with one drone damaging the same tower that was hit in the capital's financial district in an attack over the weekend.
네, 러시아가 모스크바를 향해 날아온 드론 여러 개를 요격했습니다. 이 중 한 대는 주말에 공격받았던 금융 중심가 건물을 또다시 파손시켰다고 러시아의 국방부 관계자가 밝혔습니다. 자, 이번에는 그러니까요. 러시아의 수도 모스크바가 공격을 받고 있는 상황이에요. 모스크바의 발음도 다양합니다. Ray says Moscow, I say Moscow, and in Korea we say Moskva.
I think I say Moscow.
You do?
Yeah, Moscow, Moscow.
그런가요? 네.
Yeah.
다 가능합니다. They're
Americans
all...
definitely say Moscow.
맞아요. 네, 발음이 좀 다르게 되기도 하는데 뭐 그게 다 가능하니까요. 그 공격을 지금 이제 거꾸로 받고 있는 러시아예요. 거기서 they intercepted some drones.
When you intercept something, you could sometimes the police will intercept a criminal. You stop something before it reaches its destination.
Yeah. And you do this in sports, right?
American football.
American football
for sure. There's a term in interception.
What about basketball?
You could intercept it.
Blocking. Sort of.
Well, like if one player is passing to their teammate and then another player grabs the ball while it's in the air, they've intercepted it.
아, 그러네요.
Because in American football, it's a stat because the defensive players, they're trying to get interceptions.
Ah, I see. I'll have to look into American football because I don't really know the rules. But next time, I'll study and
Okay.
I'll have more to talk about.
It's much easier if we watch a game together. And
Okay.
Then it's like I find all sports are easier if you're watching it and then someone's explaining it to you.
I guess it's maybe like riding a bike. It's better to actually ride the bike than read about riding a bike.
Sure,
but,
okay.
but not playing
Interesting.
American football, but
Yes.
like watching it is better than
I think
reading
so.
about it.
I think so.
Okay. 자, intercept 스포츠에서도 많이 쓰기도 하는데요. 여기서는 요격하다의 의미가 되겠습니다. 그래서 그 중간에 탁 껴서 막는 거죠. 자, financial district는 금융가라는 의미입니다.
So district, we'll talk about districts a lot in cities. It's just an area of a city. And when you put something in front of it, like the financial district or a shopping district or the entertainment district, it means there's just lots of that thing there. So financial district is where there's headquarters of banks or investment banks, that sort of thing. So in Seoul, I guess the financial district would be Yoido.
Yoido, yeah, sure.
In the U.S., it's Wall Street. Sorry, in New York, it's Wall Street. In Toronto, it's called Bay Street. I can't remember what it is in London. I forget.
I forget as well.
But they, you know, all cities, most big cities have those areas.
Yeah, there you go. 금융가, financial district.
The Taliban have burned musical instruments in Afghanistan, according to a state-run news agency, claiming music causes moral corruption and makes the youth go astray.
아프가니스탄 탈레반 정권이 음악이 도덕적 부패를 야기하고 청년들로 하여금 길을 잃게 한다라는 이유로 악기를 불태웠습니다. It causes moral corruption?
Wow, I guess according to the Taliban it does.
What is moral corruption,
well,
first of all?
Like morals are people's beliefs about what is right and wrong. So if there's corruption, you act in a bad way, the wrong way. So basically what they're saying here is that music will lead to immoral behavior. It will change people's beliefs and actions for the bad.
Right. Morals and ethics 같이 생각할 수도 있는데요. 도덕과 윤리 이런 겁니다.
And in their case, they it's Islamic morals,
Yes.
right? And Islamic beliefs.
여기서 말하는 것은 이슬람의 관점, 이슬람의 그런 도덕적인 corruption, 뭐 타락이라든지 부패를 야기한다. 악기가, 음악이 이런 얘기고요. They also said musical instruments, they make the youth go astray.
Well, music in general.
right.
Music in general, right. And if someone goes astray, they lose their way. That's what they're saying. They'll become lost and they will follow the wrong path in life because of this moral corruption.
잘못된 길로 간다라는 얘기예요. 그래서 이 음악은 청년들로 하여금 잘못된 길로 가게 한다.
China has closed down an exhibition of Korean independence fighter An Jung-gun at the Lushan Museum in Dalian, and a possible sign of deteriorating bilateral ties between Seoul and Beijing.
네. 한국과 중국의 관계가 악화될 조짐이 보이는 가운데 중국이 달리안시의 리순 감옥 박물관 내 안중근 의사 전시실을 폐쇄했습니다. Okay, 안중근 의사 is an independence fighter.
And I do apologize. I pronounced his name Jung-gun at the beginning. I didn't check the Korean spelling, so my apologies for that. An independence fighter, so someone who fights for independence. So that would be fighting for independence. In this case, it was against the colonial power. It could also be in a country where there's a different ethnicity or a different group of people that want independence. They might be fighting against the rulers of the country.
네, 독립운동가를 independence fighter라고 하죠. This is amid deteriorating ties between South Korea and China.
Right. So if anything is deteriorating, the condition of it is becoming worse. So when we're talking about bilateral ties, we mean relations. The relationship is deteriorating, getting worse between Seoul and Beijing.
네, 악화되고 있다라는 뜻의 deteriorate가 나왔습니다. 발음이 쉽지 않아요.
A lot of times we'll talk about someone's health is
Yep.
deteriorating, for example.
이렇게 관계가 악화될 때나 건강이 악화될 때 많이 쓰는 표현입니다. deteriorating.
Korea's per capita GDP fell more than 8% last year to post the third largest drop among major economies.
지난해 우리나라의 1인당 국내 총생산이 8% 이상 감소해 주요국 중 세 번째로 많이 줄어든 것으로 나타났습니다. 네, 이제 1인당 32,000불 정도를 기록했는데요. 이게 지난해보다 8% 이상 줄어든 거예요. 자, 이거 먼저 좀 보겠습니다. 주요 표현이 1인당 국내 총생산, per capita GDP.
Per person. That's the fancy way to say, or the Latin way to say per person. We say it a lot when you're talking about statistics.
In fact, I don't think you ever say per person when you're talking about these figures.
No,
in economics.
No, exactly. Per capita is just the term you use, in economics, or is when you're looking at stats, at statistics.
네, 경제 용어로서 1인당이라고 할 때는 항상 per capita라고 표현을 합니다. 그렇지만 의미상은 그냥 per person이랑 같은 뜻이죠.
So simply, you take the output of the economy and divide it by the population.
Exactly. 자, 그래서 per capita GDP, and you can have per capita GNP or whatever, other things as well.
Sure.
자, 그다음에 이제 주요국 중에서는 우리나라가 이제 그 감소율로 봤을 때 세 번째로 많이 감소한 그런 추세를 보였거든요. 자, 그런 주요국 영어로는 major economies.
Major economies, largest economies, the biggest economies. This report, they looked at information from the OECD as well as the World Bank, and they looked at the world's 47 largest economies.
So major, the opposite would be minor, but we don't talk about minor economies.
we would probably say developing economies.
Major economies 주요국이 되겠습니다.
The Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education has announced it will introduce a reservation system for parent-teacher conferences and run it on a trial basis from November.
서울시교육청은 학부모 교사 간 면담 및 통화 시 예약제를 도입해 이를 11월부터 시범 운영한다고 발표했습니다. 자, 먼저 이 면담이라는 표현을 좀 볼게요. 이거 가지고 사실 레이와 제가 여러 가지 의견도 주고받고 하다가 일단은 이걸 소개를 한번 해보자라고 결론을 지었는데요. Parent-Teacher Conference라는 표현 좀 생소하실 것 같아요. What conference? 이럴 수 있는데.
You can use conference this way as well. I think most times we think of conference as a big meeting.
A business conference.
Right, you go there and there's hundreds of people and there's speeches. But a conference can also be used as just a meeting as well.
Okay.
Right? So, you still, if you work in an office, you call it a conference room.
그러네요. 회의실,
Right.
conference room. 그래서
Some people will call it that.
그래서 컨퍼런스라는 게 상황에 따라서는 좀 다르게 쓰일 수도 있다. 정말 어떤 큰 우리가 보통 생각하는 회의, conference가 될 수도 있고, this could be academic or it could be anything really, right?
Sure.
A conference.
Yeah.
그런 의미도 있을 수 있지만 조금 더 작은 규모의 면담으로도 해석할 여지가 있다라는 거죠. So how about you, Ray? When you were at school, did you hear the term parent-teacher conference?
No, I think I heard parent-teacher meetings.
Meetings.
Because it's usually one-to-one or maybe two parents come in. Normally when it's smaller, people will just say meeting.
Yeah.
But it's not wrong. And
Right.
and we'll see this in writing as well.
Okay.
I remember when I was a kid, there was parent-teacher night. And all the at least most of the parents would come.
Yep.
Each teacher would be in their own classroom, and then and the kids would come. I would go with my parents, and then you walk around your classroom, you show your parents your desk, talk to the teacher for a little bit.
그렇죠. 그러니까 조금 더 일반적으로는 외국에서 parent-teacher meeting이라는 표현을 많이 쓰긴 합니다만 이 parent-teacher conference도 존재하는 표현이니까 우리가 같이 알아두면 좋을 것 같고요. 아까 parent-teacher night 언급하셨어요. I remember that too. So a lot of schools in Western countries, they will have one designated day. And the reason it's in the nighttime is because, well, first of all, you go to school during
Right.
the day, and then parents maybe are at work. So afterwards, they would come maybe at 6, 7 p.m.
I think that's when it would start,
그렇죠?
right? And it
네네.
wasn't contentious, right? It wasn't like the parents and teachers were arguing or anything
no.
like that. It was
just
more
a friendly chat.
Yeah, it was more of a get to know you
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, the kids were all there. People would be playing outside or in the gym. So it was kind of a fun night. Whereas like if there was behavioral problems or some serious issues, then parents might call the school and say, you know, I need to sit down with the teacher. It wasn't as if they could just, you know, I'm also talking about the 80s and 90s.
Right.
In my memory, you couldn't just text message the teacher directly. Parents didn't have access to, and I believe they still don't in Western countries, access to the teacher's
No.
personal phone.
yeah.
You must call the school.
Exactly.
And if there's some issues, you're probably going to talk to the principal or the vice principal, get them involved. And then then you're going to have a conference with parent,
Right.
teacher, and guidance counselor, principals, someone else as well.
네.
School administrators.
네, 그래요. 뭐 여러 가지 과정들이 있는데 보통은 외국에서 parent teacher night라고 해가지고 이제 부모들이 퇴근하고 나서 뭐 한 7시나 뭐 이때쯤에 학교 가가지고 학부모 면담일에 맞춰서 선생님과 이제 1대1로 면담하는 경우가 많이 있었습니다. 요즘도 그런지는 모르겠어요. 저희 예전에 비슷한 경험이 있는데 parent-teacher conference, parent-teacher meeting, parent-teacher night 뭐 다 비슷한 느낌으로 보시면 되겠고요. In this case, though, we're talking about parents not on parent-teacher night, but if they just have something to say, if they want to have a little talk with the teacher, they will still have to make reservations and then they can meet the teacher.
Yeah, there's a lot more to what they're adding here, and I
Yeah.
think it's actually, it sounds like it's very necessary,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Well, let's do this other expression before we get into the details. 일단 이거 하나 더 볼게요. 시범적으로 운영한다. It's going to be run on a trial basis.
So a trial basis, it's kind of an experiment. They're gonna see if it works.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be everywhere. It'll be in some places, and it's a way to test it. I think it was on Tuesday, actually. It might have been after you had to go. We talked about a pilot system or a pilot program. I think
yes.
that was bringing in housekeepers from abroad to
Right.
work in Seoul. So again, it's the same type of thing. It's a pilot program.
그렇죠.
It's not expanded everywhere. It's a way to see if it works.
앱의 형태로 할 건데요. 일단은 시범적으로 운영을 해보겠다. It will be run on a trial basis.
Rating agency Fitch has downgraded the U.S. government's top credit rating to AA plus from AAA, drawing an angry response from the White House and surprised investors.
미국의 신용평가사 피치가 미국의 신용 등급을 AAA에서 AA 플러스로 하향 조정하자 백악관과 투자자들이 강력 반발했습니다. 자, 일단은요, 이 신용평가사라는 표현을 좀 보겠습니다. Credit ratings agency or just rating agency, right?
Fitch. So
Yeah.
these are the companies that assign credit ratings. So what they're doing is they're rating a debtor's ability to pay back debt and the likelihood of default. So they will rate all sorts of government bonds, corporate bonds, municipal bonds.
Right.
That's their job is to look at, and they're not just doing it for the U.S. They're doing it for all countries.
And the big ones we think of are Fitch, S&P,
And Moody's.
Moody's.
Yeah, those are the big three. They're
Yeah.
known as the big three.
그렇죠. 자, 그래서 이제 credit rating agency인데 이걸 그냥 줄여서 그래서 rating agency라고 얘기를 했습니다. 자, 그 다음에는요, drawing an angry response.
That means they weren't happy. I definitely have a few quotes from the White House. The White House said they strongly disagree with this decision. This was just from the White House.
Right.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she also disagreed. She called it arbitrary and based on outdated data from 2018 to 2020. So
If it's
also
arbitrary, then it's sort of like baseless almost.
Well, it's just based on what they think. It's what this
see.
company thinks, and it's true. And they're not it was S&P also did that as well back in 2011. They downgraded the U.S. debt then
Right.
into the AA plus. So Moody's is the only one that still has a AAA rating, and S&P has kept it at the AA plus rating. They didn't change it recently.
Well, before we get into that, let me just quickly summarize that expression in Korean. Draw an angry response라는 거는 이 격앙된 반응을 불러오다라는 얘기가 되겠습니다.
In that case, draw just means to get,
Yeah.
to receive.
That's right.
And we use draw for like performances, movies, concerts. Did a lot of people show up? How was the draw? Did that event draw people? Did it get a lot of people? Did people come to the event?
Exactly. Did it attract a lot of
Attract,
people?
that's a better way to say it.
Exactly. And the way to read these ratings, in Korean, we would just say AA plus.
Okay.
But in English, if you have 3 of these, you say
Triple.
triple.
Triple A. And there's triple B as well.
Yeah.
And then
And
if it's 2, it's double.
그렇죠. 네, 이렇게 표현을 합니다. 2개의 같은 알파벳이 있을 때는 double A. 그래서 double A plus라는 게 여기 있고요. 그다음에 3개가 이게 동일한 알파벳일 때는 triple라고 해서 triple A 이렇게 표현을 합니다.
The Iranian government has declared a 2-day national holiday and ordered all government agencies, banks, and schools to shut down in response to an unprecedented heat wave that is pushing temperatures past 50 degrees Celsius in some southwestern cities.
이란 남서부에서 50도를 넘는 전례 없는 폭염이 예보되자 이란 정부가 이틀간의 공휴일을 선포하면서 모든 관공서, 은행, 학교의 문을 닫도록 조치했습니다. 무언가에 대한 대응이라는 뜻으로요. This is in response to something.
In response to, I think about it as due to, or even simpler, because of.
In response to는 무엇에 대한 반응이나 대응이나 이런 것들이 되겠습니다. And pushing temperatures past something.
Yes, it's the reason why the heat wave is causing temperatures to pass the 50-degree mark, which I can't even fathom.
Exactly. Push past 이것을 넘게끔 끌어올린다라는 얘긴데요. 여기서 주체는 heat wave죠. 그래서 the heat wave is pushing temperatures past 50 degrees Celsius. 폭염이 기온을 50도를 넘도록 이렇게 올라가게 하고 있다. 그만큼 굉장히 덥다라는 얘기입니다.
UNESCO has recommended that the Italian city of Venice be added to its heritage danger list, stating that the city is facing irreversible damage due to a litany of problems ranging from the effects of climate breakdown to mass tourism.
네, 유네스코는 이탈리아의 베네치아가 기후 변화부터 대규모 관광에 이르는 갖가지 많은 문제들로 인해 돌이킬 수 없는 손상에 직면했다면 이 도시를 위험에 처한 세계유산 목록에 올려야 한다는 권고안을 냈습니다. 그래요. 자, a heritage danger list is just another way of saying
The naughty list. That's
Yes.
that's how
It's
I
like a
think.
blacklist.
The blacklist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you get put on this list, the idea is that it's just meant to increase awareness, international awareness about the threats to these sites and to encourage the governments there to take counteractive measures.
네, 공식 명칭은요. The List of World Heritage in Danger인데요. 이거를 좀 요약해서 설명하고 있는 겁니다. The Heritage Danger List, 위험에 처한 세계유산 목록. And this is because of a litany of problems.
Think of a litany as a list of something. So if you see a litany of, it means there are many of that thing. Usually,
this and this and this and this.
Usually you see problems,
Right.
There's a litany of problems. So then you just know there's a whole bunch of problems
Yeah.
that they're facing.
네, 굉장히 많은이라는 의미인데요. A litany of problems. Litany인데 보통 I think the pronunciation most people will use is litany.
Litany, yeah.
litany. 네, 이렇게 발음 많이.
It's almost like you take out that A in the middle and just say litany.
Exactly.
And it's usually a litany of something.
That's right.
Restaurant and bar spending has slipped back into a decline after more than a year and a half, according to data, falling 13.4% in the second quarter of the year.
올해 2분기 음식점과 주점업 소비가 1년 반여 만에 다시 감소세로 전환해 지난해 같은 분기보다 13.4% 감소한 것으로 나타났습니다. 슉 내려갔어요.
네.
It's slipped back into a decline.
Yes, meaning it's gone down again. It's retreated again.
Yeah.
We use this term slip back. It's not a huge amount, maybe, but it's certainly it's happened quite fast, and it's quite easy to see. If you think of when you slip up, for example, you know the old comedy routine of the banana skin on the floor,
Yeah.
and the man walks along and whoop. steps on the banana skin and slips and falls. So it's that feeling of something happening quite fast, quite quickly.
네. 바나나 껍질을 밟고 슉 미끄러서 넘어지듯이 slip라고 하면은 그런 미끄러지다의 의미가 있는데요. back into a decline입니다. 그러니까 다시 뭐뭐뭐 했다라는 의미가 여기 back가 들어있어요. slip back into a decline. 사실은 이게 지금 뭐 한 7분기 만에 다시 줄어든 것이기는 합니다만 어쨌든 예전에 이제 줄어들었었다가 계속 증가세 그런데 갑자기 또 슉 내려와서 감소세를 기록했어요. So a decline.
Well, it means a reduction, something going down. Be careful, though, because to decline can also mean to say no.
Oh, yes.
I decline. When we use it in that sense, for example, Sue says, Paul, do you want to go to a party tonight? And I say, sorry, I have to decline. I'm going out for dinner with my wife.
And it's very formal, isn't it?
Yes, it's a very, you wouldn't use it when you just want to say no to a friend. It's when you have a formal invitation, for example, or maybe a formal job offer. You can accept or decline.
그렇죠. 거절하겠습니다. I'm going to have to decline. 그냥 친구 사이에서는 no, sorry. 이렇게 하면 되겠지만 네, 좀 더 공식적인 느낌을 살리고 싶을 때는 decline은 그런 거절의 의사로 쓸 수가 있어요. 자, 여기서는 그런 의미는 아닙니다. 여기서는 이제 감소세를 의미하고 있어요.
Global stocks dropped Wednesday as Fitch Ratings' downgrade of the US sovereign credit grade spurred a rapid retreat from riskier assets.
네, 국제 신용평가사 Fitch가 미국의 국가 신용 등급을 강등하면서 위험 자산에 대한 투자 심리가 급격히 위축돼 수요일 글로벌 증시가 일제히 하락했습니다. 자, 그래요. 어제 헤드라인에서는 이제 그 피치사가 그 AAA에서 AA 플러스로 강등했다라는 소식까지 전해드렸고 오늘은 그 업데이트입니다. 그 여파로 이제 뭐 아시아, 유럽, 미국 전 세계의 증시가 같이 이제 휘청인 모습이에요. So the expression here is it has spurred a rapid retreat from riskier assets.
Yes, to spur something means to make it go faster. It comes from cowboys. Cowboys and their boots, they wore spurs, which were these little spiked wheels. And when they would ride the horses, they would dig the spurs into the horse's side, causing them pain.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like it either. But what it did do is it made the horses gallop. It made them run faster.
That's
so
right.
This word is similar to sparked or triggered, but it suggests maybe it was already happening and it's just increased it. It's made it faster.
네, 자극하다. 라는 의미가 되죠. 저도 이 카우보이 영화들 보게 되면은 그 카우보이가 신는 부츠 뒤쪽에 좀 예쁘게 생긴 별 모양의 여기 있어서 이게 장식이 아니라 사실은 이게 굉장히 단단한 뭐 채찍 역할을 하는 거죠. 이거를 발꿈치를 뒤로 팡 이렇게 차면은 말이 아프단 말이에요. 그러면 이제 앞으로 확 나간다고 해요. 그래서 뭔가 자극이 된다. spur라는 표현이 나온 거고. rapid retreat, 투자자들로 하여금 이 risky assets, 위험 자산에 대해서 retreat 하게 한다고요?
Yeah, rapid is fast, speedy, and retreat is run away. When we retreat, we run away, we go away from whatever we are facing. So we use this word when we talk about battles. When I was learning history as a kid, you're talking about one side attacking and the other thinking we can't win, so they retreat. They get out of there.
네, exactly. Retreat in the war means 후퇴. 그래가지고 이제 물러서는 거예요. 그게 바로 retreat인데 rapid retreat from riskier assets. 투자자들로 하여금 위험 자산으로부터 빨리 이제 멀리하고 빨리 달아나야겠다. 그리고 이제 좀 안전한 자산 위주로 투자를 해야겠다라는 그런 심리가 많이 보였습니다.
Between 20,000 to 50,000 people in Ukraine have lost one or two limbs since the war with Russia began 17 months ago, according to a report by the Wall Street Journal.
17개월 전 시작된 러시아와 우크라이나 전쟁으로 우크라이나에서 팔다리를 잃은 사람들이 최대 5만 명으로 추산된다고 외신이 전했습니다. 자, 여기서 팔다리를 뜻하는 한 단어가 있어요. 영어로는 이렇게 말합니다.
Limb. Yeah, we talk about limbs, L-I-M-B, but the B is silent. And that refers to our arms and legs. It can also refer to trees. Trees have limbs, the branches.
Right.
So it's anything that sticks out of the body, out of the trunk of whatever living thing it may be.
Absolutely. limb을 단수로 쓰면은요, 팔다리 중에 하나가 되겠고요. 복수로 쓰게 되면은 사지가 됩니다. 그래서 People have lost one or two limbs. 팔다리를 하나 또는 둘 잃은 사람들이 많게는 5만 명까지 된다라는 정말 놀라운 수치입니다. 잠시 후에 이제 1차 대전과의 수치를 좀 비교해보긴 해보겠지만 This is according to a report by the Wall Street Journal.
Yes, when we use this term, according to a report means they said it.
Yeah.
They wrote it. We haven't confirmed it. We're going off what they have said. So you'll see this term used a lot when journalists are referring to other journalists' works.
Yeah.
For example, one newspaper may refer to another newspaper, or one media outlet refers to another one. They say, according to mo. So we use this. I think it's basically to cover your back, to make sure that you give credit where credit is due, but also to say, they are the ones saying this, not us.
Yeah, and you didn't go out there and conduct this interview, or you didn't go and do the report.
Yes.
It was someone else that did it.
Exactly. So you'll hear the term reportedly being used a lot, which means someone has said this or someone has written this. The other term you'll see used a lot, and journalists use it to be careful, is the word allegedly. For example, when someone has been accused of a crime, they haven't been found guilty. Let's say there's not the proof out there, but they have been accused.
Right.
They would say the alleged criminal, meaning people have said they're a criminal, but we don't have the proof to say that they are. So we use the term alleged.
특히 이제 뉴스를 보도하는 그 많은 미디어 아웃렛들이 있는데 거기서는 직접 기자가 나가서 취재를 해가지고 그거를 알려주는 그런 방송도 있을 수 있고요. 저희 같은 경우는 그렇게 하지 않고 있죠. 저희는 이제 여러 뉴스 소스를 받아서 이렇다고 한다를 전해드리는 거기 때문에 그럴 때는 뭐 단골 손님처럼 늘 나오는 표현이 according to 누구누구, according to the New York Times, according to the Wall Street Journal 뭐 이런 식으로 얘기를 합니다.
The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization has sounded the alarm with a report that says that more than 6 million people in Sudan are one step away from famine.
네. 유엔 산하 식량 농업 기구는 아프리카 수단 인구 중 600만 명 이상이 기아 일보 직전에 몰렸다고 전했습니다. 기아는 famine인데요. 그 일보 직전이니까 one step away, just one step away from famine.
Yeah, meaning we're very, very close. If you're one step away from something, that means the next step you take, you'll be there. So when we say someone is one step away from famine or one step away from death or one step away from injury, it means it could happen any moment.
One step away from something. If you're one step away from being told off by someone, 혼나기 일보 직전. 뭐 이렇게 되겠죠. And we don't want that to happen.
Exactly. But on the other hand, if you're Charlie Puth, you're only one call away.
Yes, that's right. 그럴 때는 전화 통화 하나만 하면은 내가 바로 달려가겠다. 그 노래 저도 생각했는데 같은 생각을 했네요. 자, 그리고 sounding the alarm.
So literally could mean you're pressing the alarm button, making the alarm go off. In this case, though, there's no alarm sound. What it is an urgent warning. When we sound the alarm, we're telling everyone this is an issue. This is a big problem. We need to address this.
네, 경보를 울리다. Sound the alarm이라고 합니다.
The Southern Hemisphere is battling record-high winter temperatures, with Argentina witnessing the hottest start of August since records began 117 years ago.
남반구에 위치한 아르헨티나가 한겨울인 8월 초에 117년 동안의 기상 통계 중 유례를 찾아볼 수 없는 가장 높은 기온을 기록했습니다. 표현부터 보고 몇 도를 기록했는지 알아볼게요. 남반구, Southern Hemisphere.
Yes. Another word for the Earth is the world. Another word for the world is a globe. Another word for a globe is a sphere. And a hemisphere is half a sphere.
Ah, I see. And we are in the
Northern Hemisphere.
Northern Hemisphere.
Australia, Argentina, South Africa, Antarctica, they're all in the Southern Hemisphere. So we have the top half of the world and the bottom half of the world. And in the middle, of course, we have the equator, which is that center line going round the world. So the Southern Hemisphere refers to the bottom part of the globe.
네, 남반구를 Southern Hemisphere라고 하고요. 북반구는 Northern Hemisphere, 적도는 Equator라고 합니다. 그다음에 여기서 동사로서 battle이 나왔는데요. 우리가 전투 라는 명사로 알고 계시죠?
Yeah, so here it's not quite the same meaning that we might use battle in another way, because battle can literally mean to fight.
Yeah.
Two armies are battling. But here it's more like enduring, suffering, trying to get through a hard time. So you battle through a difficult situation. You're not
Right.
literally fighting, but you are doing what you can to survive.
Exactly. 견뎌내다 라는 의미의 동사 battle 여기서 쓰였습니다.